And you'll see it pretty much looks the same. It's a little different. It doesn't have that additional tab for online banking, but it's, you know, just the type, the number, and the name, and possibly the description are the main things that you'd probably be concerned with. Now if I want to create a new account, I'm going to come down to this button, choose new. And the first thing you need to tell it is what type of account you're creating. So let's say we're creating a new bank account. And these are the major, the most commonly used ones. If you need another type that's not listed here, everything is available in this drop-down list here. But we're going to choose bank, and I'm going to click continue, and then it brings us to that screen that we were just looking at. So here's, in my case, the way I do it, I would put in a number, the account name, and it could possibly be a sub account, but that I don't fill out any of this optional stuff usually. And you'll notice these accounts right here are sub accounts. They're indented. So if we actually look at their setup, you're going to see they have the sub account box checked, and it lists what the parent account is. In this case is vehicles. So then you'll see how those show up here. Any of these balance sheet accounts, if you double click on them, for instance the checking account, I'm going to double click on it. It brings you to what's called the account register. I'm just going to resize the window here a little bit so you can see it better. And it looks like the account register that you have with your paper, you know, your checkbook at home, where you write down the date that you wrote the check, you know, the check number, who it was written to, and how much it was, and what it was for. And it keeps the running balance here on the right hand side, so you don't have to figure that out. I'm just going to scroll through a little bit so you can see. So that's the account register. I'm going to close that. If I double click on excuse me, a profit and loss type of account, I'm just trying to find one that actually has some activity here. There, bank service charges. It doesn't bring you to a register, it brings you to a quick report, which is a quick little listing of all the transactions in that account. And you'll see it comes up this fiscal year to date as the default dates. So it has from January 1st through December 15th, which in our sample company today is December 15th. You can change this at any point. So if I wanted to see last fiscal year, I could just change this, and it would then show me that. So balance sheet accounts will bring you to, a double click will bring you to a register, and P&L accounts, it will bring you to a quick report. Now I'm going to leave bank service charges highlighted here and show you we can come down. I'm just going to move this window around a little bit. There's this activities button down here to do the most commonly used transactions. So for instance, let's say I'm going to write checks. I can do that from here. Or using the reports button, I can pull up a quick report or various lists or other types of reports. You can get to a whole bunch of different ones from here. Now I'm going to show you real quick. Let's say I wanted undeposited funds or employee advances. Let's say I wanted that to appear below inventory. I'm going to click on this little diamond icon that's to the left of the account number. I'm going to hold my mouse button down and I'm going to drag it down. You can see that little dotted dashed line. When I let go, that's where it's going to reorder that account. And this is the order they show up in on any kind of reports, like a balance sheet or a trial balance. So it is important that you get those ordered the way you want them to be. I'm not sure if I remember where it was, but I'm going to leave it there. Now the last little bit of information I want to give to you about the chart of accounts is how to turn account numbers on and off. So I'm going to come up here to the Edit menu and go all the way down to Preferences. This is where all the different options are stored for QuickBooks, but they're called Preferences. And one of the very first section here on the left is Accounting, and then you have to click on the Company Preferences tab. And the very first checkbox is for Use Account Number. So if I don't want to use account numbers, I'm going to uncheck that. And then I'm going to click OK to save the to save that change, and you'll notice instantly the account numbers go away. If I want to go turn them back on now, I go to Edit again in Preferences, Company Preferences tab, Use Account Numbers, okay, and they're all back. So that's how easy it is to turn account numbers on and off. And that's really the only other thing is, and this is true of any list item, let's say I don't need to use the account prepaid insurance anymore for some reason. We never pay insurance ahead of time, so we're not going to use that. I can come to this account button down here and try to delete it, but you'll see this error message or this warning. QuickBooks cannot delete this account because it has a balance or it is used in at least one transaction in an item or in your payroll setup. So what that means is if you've ever used this account before in any transaction, or if it has a current balance, QuickBooks won't let you delete it. But what it can do is make it inactive, which means you basically hide that account. So I'm going to say, okay, make it inactive. And you'll notice it goes away. It's not on my chart of accounts anymore. But now we have this little checkbox down here that says include inactive. If I check that, it's going to show you every account whether they're active or inactive. And this is how, if you needed to turn it back on, you could just click on this X and it'll go away. So I'm going to make that account inactive. Check this box so that I can see it. I'm going to then make another one inactive. I can actually do it by clicking over here on the left. And then I can toggle this one back to being active. So that's a way you can, if you get a bunch of accounts that you don't really need anymore, you may not be able to delete them, but you can make them inactive so that they're hidden. You won't see them in your day-to-day operations. So I'm just going to go and make this account active again. And there, that's pretty much it about the chart of accounts. I mean, you have to know what you're doing as far as what your different types of accounts are, but other than that, that's pretty much the hardest part of this whole thing. And you're going to use these accounts in every day in pretty much every transaction you do. So you want to have it set up properly. So if you have any questions on this episode or any other questions in general, or even feedback about the podcast, please visit the website at www.fullcontactaccounting.com, and you can click on the title for this episode's show if you want to leave a comment specifically on this episode, or you can use the submit a question page to send a question for the podcast, or you can use the contact me form to send me more of a general note or maybe some feedback. I'd love to hear from you guys. Again, let me know if there's any specific questions you have. I'm going to be monitoring the website for questions, and if I don't hear from you, I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.